Hello to all Cinemaster lovers. Hope you enjoy watching. Let's get started. The movie begins with a king accompanied by his soldiers as they head to a large cave inside a mountain. As soon as the king and his soldiers enter the cave, a female dragon appears before them. The king orders his soldiers to prepare for an attack, but the dragon breathes fire and kills all of the king's soldiers. When the king finds himself alone, he kneels before the dragon and begs for mercy. Hundreds of years later, there is a poor kingdom in a remote location where the people are suffering from severe resource shortages. The lack of food is so dire that the kingdom's inhabitants steal food from one another. The princess, Ellie, and her sister, Flor, work like the rest of the kingdom's people to help them face the harsh living conditions in their realm. While they are working, they notice a luxurious carriage visiting the kingdom. They go to the palace to find out what is happening. There they see their father, King Byford, and his wife, Biv, along with a woman from the kingdom of Auria. The woman hands Byford a letter from Queen Lisa of Auria. Byford opens the letter and is delighted to read it, discovering that Queen Lisa is proposing a marriage between her son, Prince Henry, and Byford's daughter, Ellie. Byford tells Ellie that the kingdom of Auria is a beautiful place and that she will be happy living there. He also explains that Queen Lisa and Prince Henry possess a vast fleet of ships and an immense amount of gold treasures. Byford convinces Ellie that this marriage will save their kingdom, as the people cannot endure hunger until spring arrives. He explains that kings and princes must sacrifice for their people. Ellie agrees and they all board a ship, setting off to visit the kingdom of Auria. Flor notices that Ellie is sad and asks her why. Ellie confesses that she has never heard of the kingdom of Auria before, and that she did not want to marry in this way. Their stepmother Biv overhears them and tells them to prepare as they are nearing the kingdom. As they talk, the ship enters a thick fog, and Byford announces that they have arrived in Auria. They are all shocked when they see flames amidst the fog. As they approach, they see a massive dragon, but upon getting closer, they realize it is just a statue. When they reach Auria's shore, they are taken in a royal carriage to the palace. Along the way, they are amazed by the beauty of the kingdom and the surrounding farmland. Upon arriving at the royal palace, the head servant welcomes them and shows them to their rooms to rest from the journey and prepare to meet the queen. Ellie is impressed by the room she will stay in. She steps out onto the balcony enjoying the view and notices a girl her age on the neighboring balcony. Ellie smiles at her, but the girl, though attempting to smile back, appears sad. That night, Ellie is restless and unable to sleep. She steps out onto the balcony and is surprised to see fire emerging from a cave in the mountain. The next day, Ellie and her family meet Queen Lisa and Prince Henry. Lisa welcomes Ellie warmly, admiring her beauty, and introduces her to Henry. Lisa asks Henry to take Ellie on a tour of the palace so they can get to know each other better. Meanwhile, Lisa and Byford go to a room to discuss the wedding details. During their walk, Henry asks Ellie if she wants to know more about him. Ellie replies that it doesn't matter since she has already agreed to marry him. Ellie explains that she had no choice but to agree because her kingdom is very poor, and she is sacrificing her happiness to save her people. Henry tells her that he is also forced into marriage because it is his mother's wish. They then ride horses through the fields until they reach the mountain. There, Ellie asks Henry about the fire coming out of the mountain that she saw the night before. He tells her that this fire represents a special celebration of the kingdom's customs and traditions. He knows that there are still other celebrations that will be held in the same place. Henry says that the kingdom holds these celebrations to honor our ancestors from the room. Buford comes out after her looking sad. Beef becomes worried that Buford disagreed with the queen on the details of the marriage. But Buford reassures her and tells her that the marriage is going well and that the queen has given him a very large treasure of gold. Beef smiles about the reason for his sadness, but he gets angry at her and refuses to answer her. Beef leaves because talking to Lisa, you might be able to find out something from her and feel reassured, but Lisa treats Beef arrogantly and makes fun of her. At night, Beef goes to Lily's room and tells her that her marriage to Henry was a big mistake. She is surprised by her words and asks what exactly she means because she was very welcoming of this marriage at first. Beef tells her that she was wrong and that she is not comfortable with Queen Lisa and that she feels that something wrong is happening. He comes and straightens and cuts and asks them what they are talking about, so she leaves something and tells him that she talks to Beef about girls' matters. The next day, the servants dress her in a wedding dress, which consists of many pieces. She is surprised because it is the first time she wears a dress like a princess. When she explodes, they put a piece like a knife in her chest to make her body tight. In addition, they put a chain next to her with a precious stone inside it that smells very good. After that, the ceremony begins. The marriage, the princess and Henry put on some rings, and Queen Lisa comes and puts the crown on Ellie's head and learns in front of everyone that Ellie has officially become her son's wife and the princess of the kingdom. After that, Ellie bids farewell to her father and his wife, and prepares her sister Fleur and those who will come to visit her. When Ellie's family leaves, Ellie rides with Henry in the royal carriage and they go to the mountain. There, a group of royal entourage gathers around her, and they are all wearing masks on their faces. Ellie is surprised and learns from Henry that this is the second celebration of the kingdom. She gives Lisa a coin and tells her that she will join a large number of Mr. That who helped in building the kingdom. After that, she enters the cave in the mountain and walks over a long bridge. Henry walks behind her, and she tells Lisa that when her ancestors inhabited the kingdom, they discovered that a female dragon lived in this mountain, and that this female dragon is her, the last one of her kind, and because the female dragon attacked the people of the kingdom and killed a large number of them, the king took his soldiers and entered the mountain to kill the female dragon and protect his people from her, but the female dragon killed all the king's soldiers and sentenced the king to a fate worse than death, which is that he offers his 3 daughters to the female dragon as a sacrifice in exchange for her allowing his people to live on the land of the kingdom. Since that day, the kingdom has held 3 celebrations in memory of the king's daughters who were devoured by the dragon. Later, Henry and Ellie return to Lisa, who takes a knife and makes a small cut on both Henry's and Ellie's hands. She then has them hold hands, declaring that from this moment, Ellie has the royal family's blood running through her veins. Lisa gives Ellie a gold coin and asks her to throw it into the depths of the mountain. Ellie does so, and Henry lifts her into his arms, asking her to trust him. Ellie feels happy, experiencing a romantic moment for the first time. However, she is shocked when Henry apologizes and throws her into the depths of the mountain. Ellie screams as she falls, hitting tree branches until she lands on the ground and loses consciousness. After some time, Ellie wakes up, injured and bleeding from her head. She stands up crying and calling for help, but no one responds. She tries to climb the rocks to escape but fails and falls repeatedly. Ellie breaks down in tears. Suddenly, she finds a dress, shoes, and pieces of jewelry, realizing that another girl was sacrificed before her and that she is the second offering to the dragon. Ellie sees a light coming from a small passage in the cave. She grabs a tree branch and follows the light to its source. She finds herself in another cave and discovers a small bird engulfed in flames on the brink of death. After the bird dies, Ellie picks it up and cries. Suddenly, a flock of birds on fire emerges from an opening in the cave. The birds crash into the rocks and fall to the ground, dead. Ellie is terrified by the scene. She sees it. Suddenly, female dragon appears behind Ellie. Ellie gets startled, runs quickly, and hides behind the rocks. Then female dragon asks Ellie for her name. Ellie tells her, trembling with fear. Female dragon asks what she wants from her, and female dragon replies that she wants her to repay the debt she owes. She explains that the queen machine must pay the price. Female dragon says she smells the blood of the queen machine running through Ellie's veins. Ellie realizes that the queen mixed her blood with Henry's to sacrifice her. Afterward, Ellie stands up and tells her to run, as female dragon enjoys chasing her victims before catching them. Female dragon prepares to breathe fire, and Ellie runs at full speed into the cave to avoid being burned. She enters a small crevice and is horrified to find the corpse of the girl she greeted on the balcony. Ellie senses female dragon is following her, so she squeezes into a narrow opening in the cave to hide. She gets stuck in the opening and sees the fire approaching, but she gathers her strength and barely escapes at the last moment, though her leg gets burned by the fire. Ellie pulls a knife from her dress, sharpens it on a rock, cuts part of her dress, and wraps it around her injured leg. She then opens the necklace containing a gemstone, holds it close to the fire, and uses it as a lamp to light her way through the cave. Ellie continues walking through the narrow passage until she falls into a small tunnel. She hits the ground and the gemstone goes out, leaving her in darkness. Despite the pain, Ellie stands up again and sees a lit area ahead. She moves toward it, only to discover she is standing on the edge of a cliff. She gathers her courage and jumps into the air to reach the other side, but loses her balance and falls. She uses her knife to anchor herself between the rocks and climbs up until she reaches the top. Ellie approaches the light source and discovers it comes from tiny glowing insects. She collects some of them, wraps them in a piece of her dress, and makes a large lamp. Ellie continues her journey through the cave until she reaches a lake. She dips her hand in and drinks the water, but it tastes terrible. However, she notices droplets of water falling from icy rocks. She opens her mouth to drink and is startled when the ice melts rapidly because female dragon is attacking her, breathing fire. Ellie runs quickly and falls into a pit in the cave, surrounded by dresses of princesses who were previously sacrificed. She also finds the names of the princesses carved into the walls, alongside a map showing the escape route from the cave. Feeling exhausted and in pain from her injuries, Ellie sits on the ground, removes the fabric from her leg, and falls asleep from fatigue. In her sleep, she dreams of the princesses who were once in that place. She wakes up suddenly to find the glowing insects clinging to her burned leg. She removes them, fearing her wound might be infected, but to her surprise, the burn has completely healed, and her leg is back to normal. Astonished, she picks up one of the insects and places it on the burn on her arm. The insect moves over the burn, and the injury disappears entirely. Ellie then stands before the map, memorizes it, and begins following its directions through the cave. She eventually reaches a spot where sunlight is visible. Overjoyed, she moves toward it, only to discover it is filled with sharp rocks. She notices a crown on the ground, picks it up, and uses it to climb the rocks. She cuts her dress and wraps her hands and feet to avoid injury. Ellie climbs until she reaches the top and finds herself in front of an opening in the mountain. She becomes very excited and runs toward the opening, spotting a group of knights in the distance. She calls out to them loudly for help, but unfortunately they don't hear her. Suddenly, female dragon attacks Ellie and is about to kill her when she hears someone calling out to Ellie. She turns to see who it is. Ellie is also surprised to hear the voice because she didn't expect anyone to come after her and save her. What Ellie doesn't know is that the knights she saw earlier are her father and 2 knights from his kingdom. They managed to reach the mountain and entered the cave to search for her. At that moment, Ellie hears her father calling her name. She jumps back into the cave to go to him. Ellie follows the sound until she encounters a place with the remains of female dragon's children. Here, Ellie learns the truth about what happened. The story flashes back to the past, showing the king inside the cave with his soldiers, standing before female dragon's eggs. As her children hatch, the king orders his soldiers to kill them. Female dragon arrives, enraged by the death of her children, and attacks the soldiers, killing them all. When the king kneels before her and begs for mercy, she makes a deal with him. She forces him to offer his daughters as compensation for what he did to her children. She also demands that he and his people continue to offer her daughters until the end of her life. In the present, female dragon attacks the knights accompanying Ellie's father. She grabs one knight, flies into the air, and drops him onto the rocks, killing him. The second knight tries to escape, but female dragon catches him and crushes him under her feet. At this moment, Ellie arrives and sees female dragon standing before her father. She asks him why he came. He raises his sword and says he came to save his daughter. But female dragon grabs him, lifts him into the air, and throws him to the ground. She demands that he call out to Ellie, saying she can smell her and knows she's hiding nearby. Ellie's father is overjoyed to know his daughter is still alive and calls out to her, apologizing and asking for her forgiveness. He admits he made a grave mistake by agreeing to sacrifice her for his kingdom. Ellie cries when she hears her father's words but remains hidden, so female dragon won't see her. However, female dragon strikes Ellie's father, knocking him to the ground, and digs her claws into him. She demands that he call out to Ellie and tell her to come. At this moment, Guide, who is hiding, makes a noise. Female dragon moves toward the sound, thinking it's Ellie. Ellie seizes the opportunity to go to her father, who is in his final moments. He tells her to use the ropes he brought to the cave to escape. He informs her that she will find Beef and Flora waiting for her on the ship. Then, he dies. She cries to Ellie, kisses her father's head, and runs quickly to escape. At that moment, female dragon sees the guide. She gets angry and finishes him off. After that, she keeps searching for Ellie. As soon as she sees her climbing the rope, she breathes fire from her mouth, but Ellie manages to reach the opening in the mountain, escapes, and runs quickly. She mounts the horse and rides it at a very high speed. While on the way, Ellie gets off the horse and hides under the rocks. When female dragon comes out of the mountain to chase Ellie, she is surprised to find that Ellie is no longer on the horse. She searches everywhere but cannot find her. Ellie waits in her hiding place until female dragon leaves. But female dragon is very angry and continues to breathe fire, turning the entire area into a massive blaze. At this time, Lisa sees female dragon setting the place on fire and realizes that Ellie has escaped. Meanwhile, on the ship, Beeve and Floor are waiting for Beaver to return with Ellie, but they are shocked when Lisa attacks the ship with her soldiers and kidnaps Floor. The next day, Ellie wakes up and is overjoyed to find that female dragon has disappeared from the area. However, she sees Beeve riding her horse toward her and is thrilled that Ellie is still alive. Beeve tells Ellie that Lisa kidnapped her sister Floor to offer her as a sacrifice to the dragon instead of herself. Ellie mounts the horse to go rescue her sister. Before leaving, Beeve asks her about her father. Ellie remains silent and sadness is evident on her face. Beeve understands that Beaver has died. At that moment, Lisa is in the cave and asks Henry to mix his blood with Floor's. Henry refuses, saying that Floor is too young and he cannot do such a thing. He tries to stop Lisa from doing what she wants, but Lisa insists on her plan. She cuts her hand in Floor's hand, mixing their blood together, and then throws Floor into the cave. Ellie arrives at the mountain, climbs to the cave quickly, and keeps calling for Floor. When Ellie hears her sister's screams, she unties a rope from the bridge and descends into the cave. At that moment, female dragon is holding Floor, who has fainted from the shock. She flies with her inside the cave to the place where her children's corpses lie, placing her there and saying she knows her sister will come to save her. Ellie makes her way toward female dragon, taking some fireflies to use as a light source. She then gathers the knight's armor, stacking it in a certain way. Ellie stands before her father's body, her eyes filled with determination, grabs her father's sword, and heads toward female dragon. The armor falls to the ground, making a loud noise. Upon hearing the sound, female dragon rushes toward it. Ellie appears, approaches her unconscious sister Floor, and wakes her up. Floor is happy to see her sister Ellie and helps her stand, as her legs are injured. The two hide behind a rock. When female dragon returns to the area, Ellie confronts her, pointing her sword at her, and tells her they were both deceived. Ellie explains that Lisa claimed female dragon attacked the kingdom's people, which led the king to kill her children. Female dragon responds that she never attacked humans, and that the king killed her children without reason. Ellie tries to make her understand that she is not of royal lineage, but female dragon doesn't believe her and attacks her. Ellie dodges female dragon's attack but falls into the lake. She emerges from the lake and Floor throws her the sword to defend herself. Ellie tries to reach the sword but female dragon attacks her, knocking her to the ground, telling her she won't escape again. Female dragon digs her claws into Ellie's body to make her feel the pain her children endured. Ellie screams in pain, grabs a knife and stabs female dragon in the eye. Female dragon screams in pain, throws Ellie away, and Ellie grabs the sword and attacks female dragon, managing to stab her in the abdomen. Female dragon grabs Ellie with her hands, intending to kill her, but Ellie stabs her hand, causing severe pain. Female dragon throws Ellie to the ground, pulls the sword from her hand, and despite her injury, continues to chase Ellie. Ellie, exhausted and unable to run, finds a rock that reflects the wind in the area. She comes up with a clever idea, standing in front of female dragon, provoking her until female dragon breathes a massive amount of fire at her. Ellie quickly moves aside and the fire hits the rock, reflecting back onto female dragon's body. Female dragon falls to the ground, her body engulfed in flames, suffering a severe injury but not dying. Ellie stands before female dragon, showing her the wound on her hand, explaining Lisa's deceit, and revealing the reason female dragon smells royal blood in her. Ellie tells female dragon that she participated with Lisa in killing many innocent girls. Female dragon asks Ellie to kill her. Ellie raises her sword, ready to strike, but hesitates at the last moment. Instead, she gathers some fireflies and places them on female dragon's body to heal her burns. Meanwhile, Lisa is attending her son Henry's wedding ceremony, but is shocked when Ellie enters. Ellie approaches the princess Henry is marrying, asking her to take her family and leave, revealing that Lisa and her son were planning to sacrifice her to female dragon. The princess cries and leaves with her family. Ellie confronts everyone present, asking them to leave immediately or face death. Lisa mocks Ellie, saying no one will fear her. Ellie responds that she is not the one they should fear. Suddenly, female dragon appears, leaving everyone in shock. It is revealed that Ellie and female dragon have allied to take revenge on Lisa. Female dragon breathes a massive amount of fire at Lisa and her son Henry, burning them to death. The next day, Ellie is with Beeve and her sister Floor. Ellie tells Beeve that she has issued a royal decree as the heir to the throne after Henry's death, appointing Beeve as the queen of the kingdom of Aria. Ellie and her sister Floor board the ship, returning to their kingdom. Female dragon appears, clearly heading with them to their destination. The movie ends. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, make sure to subscribe for more awesome content. Thanks for watching.